Rochelle had always dreamed of becoming a famous writer, but she never imagined that her destiny was tied to a mysterious boy who had just arrived in town. If you don't want to miss other exciting stories like this, subscribe to the channel. But now, enjoy. Raquel was a young woman with big dreams. She lived in a small country town where life was quiet and simple. Her hair as black as night contrasted with the brightness of her deep eyes, which reflected the soul of a dreamer. Since she was a child, she spent her days immersed in books or writing in her diary under an old tree in the town square. Every week, the arrival of the popcorn vendor brought a touch of joy to the square, attracting children and adults with the aroma of freshly prepared delights. It was a moment of simplicity and joy that involved the entire community. However, while many of her friends left the small town to seek new opportunities in the big cities, Rochelle remained attached to her dream of becoming a famous writer. One day, while she was at her favorite bar with a friend, a handsome and mysterious young man sat down in front of her. It was Patrick, a newcomer who had taken over an old abandoned farm. Intrigued, Rochelle investigated, and thanks to her friends, she found out who the boy was. It was Patrick, the son of the old owner of the farm who was restoring the place. Several girls in the village began to take an interest in the man, but Rochelle wasn't attracted by the idea of competing for someone's heart. She had her own priorities, her books and her dreams. But he wasn't like the other boys. One day, he approached her and asked for help in organizing a welcome dinner at her farm on the advice of the local priest. Rochelle was initially reluctant, but agreed to help Patrick. She began to frequent the farm, observing with admiration how the boy was transforming it with dedication and passion. The farm was huge, and under her care, it was being reborn. As she strolled through the well-kept gardens and restored buildings, the young woman couldn't help but express her admiration. "It must be wonderful to own a place like this," she said, looking around with fascination. Patrick smiled and replied, "It sure is nice, but I'm not the owner. I'm just a trusted employee of the real owner. He's instructed me to organize everything so that the farm will be in perfect condition when he and his family move in." It was the beginning of a long story between the two young boys. Although all the girls were fascinated by the young man, it was Rochelle, with her natural and spontaneous way, who won the boy's heart. Rochelle initially resisted any sign of romance, focused on her goals and determined to follow her own path. However, love had an enigmatic way of finding its way, and despite her initial resistance, the woman began to feel her heart give in to the feelings that were growing between them. The two young people made an incredible couple, and the months spent together seemed to only increase the love they shared. But news was about to turn the couple's lives upside down. If you liked the story, would you be kind enough to leave a like and subscribe to the channel? Thank you very much. Rochelle received news that left her deeply excited. Her book had attracted the attention of a large publishing house, and they were interested in publishing it. But there was more. They also offered her the opportunity of a job as a proofreader at the publishing house. The job meant she would have to move to another city, a big city. It was an opportunity the girl had dreamed of all her life. As she broke the news to Patrick, Rochelle sensed that despite his words of encouragement, something was wrong. "What's the matter, Patrick? Aren't you happy with my success?" The man sighed, his eyes revealing a mixture of emotions. He answered sincerely, "Of course I'm happy for you. You've worked so hard and deserve all the recognition you're getting, but I can't help but feel a little sad because I know you're leaving. But I'm not going alone. You'll come with me, right? Rachel asked with hope in her eyes. Patrick rolled his eyes, knowing this was a conversation they needed to have. He looked Rachel in the eyes and said sincerely, "I love you more than anything, and my dream would be to spend my life by your side, but I want to be realistic. My experience is in the field and managing the farm. I don't know how I would behave in a big city." The girl looked at him with determination and replied, "But what I will earn will be enough for both of us." The conversation between the two did not reach a point of convergence. The fate that had brought them together now separated them. Rochelle pursued her dream and moved to the big city, while Patrick remained behind. Months passed. The woman saw her book published and sold in large bookstores. Her work was rewarding. She lived in a nice apartment and was surrounded by the excitement and opportunities that the city offered. It was the exact realization of all her most optimistic dreams. Despite her success, Rochelle felt that something was missing. She missed the square, the smell of popcorn, the laughter of children. Above all, she missed Patrick. She knew she had to make a difficult choice: her career or the life she had left behind. She realized that everything she had dreamed of did not give her the happiness she had hoped for. She decided to return to her hometown, recognizing that, despite her success, her heart called her to simplicity and authentic relationships. News of his return soon reached Patrick. Rochelle was also anxious as she searched for him at the farm. With a shy smile, she said, "Hi, Patrick, I'm back." The boy looked at her curiously. "I heard about your return. What happened?" "I realized that everything I thought would bring me happiness actually didn't. I was already happy in my hometown, with my family, friends, and most of all by your side. I'm sorry I left." Patrick responded kindly, "Rachel, there's no need to apologize. You followed your dreams, and I knew how important that was to you. If you hadn't left, you would have always regretted it, and maybe you would never have known that it wouldn't have brought you the satisfaction you wanted." The girl smiled, relieved by his support. She knew that her journey had taught her valuable lessons and made her appreciate the simple things in life even more. Now, she was back home with the people she loved, and she knew that her heart was in the right place. Rochelle and Patrick resumed their relationship and soon after decided to get married. After the wedding, the couple moved into a small house on the farm where the man worked. It was a simple house, but full of warmth and welcome. The woman never imagined she would be so happy living in the simplicity of that small house.